I have just been sent easily my most highly anticipated physical media release of 2024, Frank Capra at Columbia 20 movie box set from Sony Pictures. Let's take a look at this bad boy. Hey everyone, Dave here with another Blu-ray unboxing video. It's been a little while since I've done one of these over on this channel, but the wonderful people over at Sony Pictures Home Entertainment in the US have just sent me over this incredibly elaborate and expensive box set. It is the Frank Capra at Columbia 20 movie collection. So I've got to do my due diligence and put together an unboxing video for them right here. Sony Pictures, I've said this a number of times, are really leading the charge when it comes to 4K remasters of catalog titles. They really know how to clean up their films, how to master them properly, going back to original elements where possible, or as close to first generation elements as possible. They don't use digital noise reduction and AI tools and all that kind of stuff. They really come out with some fantastic premium looking cinematic masters of their back catalogue. And since the beginning of the format, Sony pioneered the Blu-ray format, so they have been really at the forefront of leading restorations and stuff like that. This year, they are celebrating the 100th anniversary of Columbia Pictures, and they're doing a bang-up job. Just last month, or a couple of months back, they released this, the Columbia Classics 4K Ultra HD Collection Volume 5, which collects 6 films from the Columbia archives, or the Columbia back catalogue, newly remastered on 4K and released on physical media for the first time in the format. Stunning box set. I have all 5 of these. I've been buying them as they come out, but Sony sent me this one a couple of months ago, and it's just a stunning set with a booklet and all that kind of stuff. Not a booklet, a big hardcover book. Absolutely stunning stuff right there. Also, earlier in the year, they released this guy here, the Three Stooges Ultimate Blu-ray Collection. This is a 20-disc collection. It's got almost 100 Three Stooges shorts. I think there's over 100 shorts on here because there's some bonus stuff as well. Bunch of stuff they did at Columbia Pictures when they were contracted there. It's missing about 90 or 100 shorts as well. So I'm not sure if they're going to do a second volume of that. I really hope they do because they look gorgeous. But what we're here to talk about today is their latest release, and we're taking the year out with a bang. And it is the Frank Capra at Columbia collection. As I said, this is 20 films that Frank Capra made at Columbia Pictures between the 1920s and the 1930s. Some absolute classic movies that we've come to know and love as iconic Frank Capra films. I'll drop this big J card off the back. But there's also a handful of films that are so incredibly rare, they're hitting home media for the very first time, or at least they're hitting disc media for the very first time. Some of these movies we're lucky to even have on home media at all because the elements were so bad that Columbia for many years, or Sony for many years, have said there's no chance we're going to be able to restore that film. Some of these films were thought lost as well and recently found, or found in the last couple of decades or so. But Sony has done an incredible job at remastering these. I've only had a chance to look at a couple of them, but they look absolutely stunning. A handful of these are silent films, and they just look so great. Like late 20s silent films, just on the cusp of sound coming into Hollywood. They'd really refined the art of motion pictures by that point. They'd really refined the art of the silent feature, and then sound came in and they had to rework everything all over again. But it's really quite interesting to get a glimpse at those later silent pictures, and then how there's one in here in particular where they start bringing sound effects into it, which is a lot of fun. But anyway, some of these silent films have been thought lost for many, many years. Something like 80 or 90% of all American silent films are lost and will never make it onto home media. So it's just, this box set is historic. Not only the inclusion of these silent films, but this is one of the first instances, alongside the Columbia Classics box set, of American silent films being made available on 4K, which is insane. Or even more insane is that this box set exists in 2024 from a major studio. This is the kind of thing that we're kind of seeing from boutique labels like Criterion more recently, and I think the studios are finally catching on to the fact that there is a market amongst collectors for this kind of thing, and Sony is again really leading the charge with this kind of release. Let's have just a quick unboxing of this and take a look inside, and I'll show you what you would get. What I love about this is, well, first off, it's kind of an odd shape. So you put it on a shelf and it's kind of like a weird trapezoid kind of thing. I have not found a shelf that will fit this thing yet. I don't know where I'm gonna put it. It's an awesome box, but I don't know where I'm gonna put it because it is just such an odd shape. You put it in and the shelf hits it on the top and you can't quite get it, and I'll figure it out. Look, so yeah, the box set is wonderful. Got some great pictures of the man right there, Frank Capra, who is, if you're unfamiliar with his work, one of the greatest American filmmakers of all time. He's one of my favorite filmmakers of all time. I love his films, and I'm so excited to actually be able to now see some of his earliest films. I read his autobiography. I bought it secondhand. In fact, I've just got it just over here. Just give me 1 second. I found it at a secondhand bookshop here in Melbourne earlier, it was last year. And I read this cover to cover really quickly. I'm such a slow reader too. It's Frank Capra, the name above the title. It was out of print for many years. I know it's been released digitally recently. I'm not sure if they put an actual printed physical copy back into print, but if you can get your hands on this book, amazing stuff. I paid probably $50 for this, I think, but well worth it. Amazing, amazing book. And I read that last Christmas, and then once I finished it, I binged through the Frank Capra movies that were at my disposal, and at that point, it was like 7 or 8 movies. Got 20 of the things now, which is just exciting. So now, Christmas again, I'm back to binging the Frank Capra stuff, and I've got a whole bunch more to look at. So anyway, let's do this really quickly. We're going to open this up. We have these barn doors on here, which open up to reveal the Blu-rays inside, and these slide into the box, which is really cool. I've never seen anything like this on a physical media. There's like a magnet there. Slide that in, and then you've got all the films right there. As you can see, 20 movies on Blu-ray. 9 of them are also included in 4K. There is also a feature-length documentary, brand new feature-length documentary included in there, Frank Capra, Mr. America, which I haven't seen just yet, but is apparently fantastic. So I'm going to binge through all the movies, and then I'm going to cap it off with Frank Capra, Mr. America. So to get these out, you sort of got to give it a little bit of a bang on the back, and they kind of come falling out there. We'll just briefly go through the movies that are included here in this box set, just very quickly. Most of these are from like 1920 up until 1939. So it's late 20s to late 30s. So I've got this one, So This Is Love. I watched this one the other day. It's really, really wonderful. Just such a cute little beautiful silent film. Same with The Way of the Strong, another great one. And it's really cool seeing so early on the kind of themes that Frank Capra is playing around with. This one here, That Certain Thing. You can see that he's really playing with these kind of sweet, romantic, cutesy stories with... There's always an underdog in his stories. Frank Capra was a real underdog himself, an immigrant who worked his butt off to be successful in America. So you really see that right from his silent films, which has been just such a wonderful thing to discover. We've got Submarine right here, which is a silent film. It kind of came out just as sound came in. It is 1928, so sound came in that year. But yeah, that was just kind of just at the cusp there. That's such a terrific movie. It looks gorgeous in 4K. Like, the fact that this is not only just on physical media, but it's on 4K is crazy. We've also got the younger generation on 4K. I haven't been showing you the backs of these, but they're just really nice kind of designs on the back. Just really simplistic. Not many of these are kind of loaded with bonus features. Some of them have got historical audio commentaries with film historians, which is really great. They're really interesting to listen to. We've got Flight and Ladies of Leisure, which stars Barbara Stanwyck, who is an actor that Frank Capra worked with a lot. This is one of her earliest roles. It's a kind of odd thing is some of these early silent films are like only 60 minutes each, but they get their own disc. And then there's a couple of like 100-minute movies shoved on a single disc. I don't know how they made the decision, which ones were, as you can see, they're 2 movies on 1 disc. It's kind of, it would make more sense to shove like a couple of the, or 2 or 3 of the 60-minute silent films on one disc. Anyway, whatever. That's my only kind of weird qualm with this set. We've also got Rain or Shine. Right here, there's 2 versions of the movie in here, a domestic and an international version of the film. We've got Dirigible, another early sound film on 4K. Really looking forward to seeing that one. We have got The Miracle Woman. Again, this one stars Barbara Stanwyck. I can't wait to see that. I love particularly her early stuff. She's just such a incredible performer. This is one I'm really, really desperate to have a look at, and that's Platinum Blonde. This one stars the incomparable Jean Harlow, and only a couple of years ago, there was only a single film of hers available on Blu-ray. But over the last couple of years, a number of her films have been making it out onto the Blu-ray format. The Warner Archive released a couple recently. I've been getting my hands on those, and it's just so great to finally be able to see some of her movies, particularly in such high quality. And now in 4K, I mean, it just continues to blow my mind what they have done with this box set. We've also got American Madness and The Bitter Tea of General Yan, which is another one which stars Barbara Stanwyck. I'm looking forward to checking out both of them. Again, examples of like 100-minute plus. Well, one of them's 76 minutes, one's 86 minutes on one disc. Kind of strange. Again, we've got another Barbara Stanwyck here, which is called Forbidden, and another one called Lady for a Day, which Frank Capra remade later in his career as A Pocket Full of Rainbows with name has escaped me right now. Capra hated working with him. Glenn Ford. Capra hated working with him. But yeah, so Lady for a Day. So I'm excited to see that. I've watched Pocket Full of Rainbows. I watched it last year. So since I read the book, I've been excited to go back and watch the original version of that. It Happened One Night, which is one of my favorite films of all time. This film is stunning, and it's here on 4K. This has actually been released on 4K already in one of the earlier Columbia Classics box sets, I think Volume 1. But the difference here is there is a new film, there's a new audio commentary on there, and there is also a Dolby Vision presentation, which wasn't available on the Columbia Classics set. So if you're doubling up with this, you are getting a different presentation of the film. You've got a new commentary on there too, which is a very nice touch by Sony. They could have easily just packaged the old disc, but they didn't. They went to the effort of doing completely new disc, completely new presentation there as well. Mr. Deeds Goes to Town, which stars Jean Arthur and Gary Cooper, another fantastic sort of later great film of Frank Capra, I guess kind of the middle of his career. We've got Lost Horizon, which is a favourite of mine. This one kind of, I feel is a little bit more underrated. You don't hear so much great stuff about Lost Horizon, but I love that movie. It's so great. You Can't Take It With You is another fantastic one. This one stars Jean Arthur, Lionel Barrymore, James Stewart in a very early role as well. Adore This. Fantastic film. We've also got Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. This was also included in one of the Columbia Classics box sets. James Stewart in just one of his best performances of all time. Jean Arthur in that as well. She is another one that Capra collaborated with quite a bit. And I love this movie. And again, Dolby Vision presentation and a brand new audio commentary on that. All the 4K, I believe all of them, or most of them, have a Dolby Vision presentation, which is, just double checking on that. Even the silent ones? I don't think the silent ones have a Dolby Vision presentation, but the later ones do. And then, of course, as I mentioned, Frank Capra, Mr. America, which is the feature-length documentary that is included in this box set right here. I can't wait to watch that. It goes for about an hour and a half. So as I said, feature-length, 93 minutes. And I'm really, really excited to take a look at that one again as a big fan of Capra myself. You'll notice that there's a couple of kind of big hitters missing from this set. It's a Wonderful Life isn't in here. Arsenic and Old Lace isn't here. And Meet John Doe isn't in here either. None of them were done at Columbia Pictures. Capra moved to a couple of different studios throughout this period, and after his time at Columbia, he started his own film production company and started releasing films that he would then distribute through other companies and stuff. So those films those three are actually available. I own them, and I'm gonna kind of slot them in and watch them along with these two, do like a big Frank Capra marathon. So that's why they're not included here. They're not owned by Columbia. There's also a couple of Columbia owned films that aren't included in here. There's a couple of really quite notable ones that were not included for whatever reason, whether that be that maybe the elements weren't right or they couldn't get it together, I don't know. Something like Bronco Billy, which was remade later on with Bing Crosby was in the remake. The name of the remake escapes me at the moment, but that was remade at Paramount, and when Paramount released their remake of it, they bought the rights to the original film from Columbia, so Columbia doesn't own that anymore, even though it was made at Columbia. But anyway, there's the Frank Capra box set. I wanted this to be a short video. We've gone to about 20 minutes or so now, but this is a stellar box set. As I said, it is a historic box set, and I think if you're not only just a lover of Frank Capra's work, but you are a lover of cinema and cinema history and a big supporter of being able to own this kind of stuff on physical media, actually being able to own stuff like these that were thought lost for so many years or thought to have just really inferior elements for any kind of great, you know, physical release. Stuff like these that are on 4K. This is just like, and in 2024 when everyone is doomsdaying that physical media is over, and I'll be honest, I'm guilty of that. I've been guilty of that in the past, but there's been a real resurgence of the last few years, not only with the boutiques, but now the studios are realizing there's a market there for film buffs and cinephiles who just really love these kinds of releases and really want to support the restoration of these important movies that are so important, not only to American culture, but to world culture. And I'm so happy that this is a thing, that this has been released. Sony has done wonderful work with this, and I'm so excited to see what else they've got coming to us in the future. I hope next year has so many more possibilities open up, because they're just doing some of the best work in the game right now. It's fantastic. So you can get your hands on this one right now. I'll leave a link down in the comments below if you want to pick it up. It's actually quite cheap. I believe it's going for about $140 US at the moment on Amazon, which comes to like less than a dollar a movie. My math is terrible. You know this, judging by my recent stuff. Let's count 21 movies. And we'll do that by 140 by 21. Well, you're getting the movies for $6.66 each. So yeah, not $1 each. that'd be like a $21 box set. So $6.60 each you're getting these movies for at the moment, and some of them are in 4K, which is just stellar. Okay, thank you so much for watching this. I highly recommend you pick it up. I don't know how limited this is or anything, how long it's going to be available, but I would dare to say there's probably not too many units made for this, and I don't know if they'll do another run. But grab yourself a copy, particularly now. I think it retails for like $250, close to the $300 mark, but at the moment you can get it for about $140 US on Amazon. If you're in Australia like me, you can import it from Amazon Australia through the global store. I think it's about $250 Australian, which is like just super cheap for this anyway. So thanks for watching, and thanks again to Sony for sending me over these. You have lost me for an entire month. This is no Christmas movies for me this year. It's Frank Capra, Mr. America for me. Thanks again. I appreciate you watching, and I actually do have some more physical media videos that are going to be coming out on this channel very soon. So keep your eyes open. See you on the next one. Take it easy.